Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video coming to you from Locust Grove, Virginia, about an hour 15, depending on the traffic outside of Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C. area. Really excited to bring you this course. Yes, this is the home of the longest golf hole in all of America. It's a par 6, 841 yards, and I actually did a completely separate video on that single hole alone. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but for today, we are going to be showing you the longest hole 9 course, and I had to read up on this because I didn't know what to expect, but apparently Meadows Farm is made up of 3 different 9-hole courses. There's the waterfall, there's the island, and then there's the longest 9. I'm only playing 9 for today and you'll get all 9, but I'm hoping, maybe later this summer I can come back, get the other 2 into a full 18-hole video and just knock it all out at once. And, when I rolled up, the vibes, it seemed like a pretty chill golf course, super relaxed. Admittedly, maybe too relaxed for my liking. I didn't see a starter, had to figure my way around. I've never been here before, so it was kind of, I didn't even know where the tee box was to start, but beside the point, here we are. And before we continue on, just on a quick side note, we are approaching 3,000 subscribers. Would have never thought we got to this point, a couple years later on my YouTube journey. If you have a moment, hit that subscribe button. If you're interested in more golf courses in the state of Virginia or the DMV area, this is the channel for you. Really appreciate you all. Help me get to that. And then after 3,000, who knows? To the moon? We'll see. Anyway, back to the golf course itself. So you saw me trying to navigate around. I had to walk around what looked like the golf shed with the supply and maintenance crew stuff. I ended up finding it with a couple signs that I located, but here we are. So I'm a single, I'm walking, and again, because there was no starter, there wasn't really anyone to tell me to go, not to go. So I walked up at my tee time. I was by myself. Obviously, when you're by yourself, you get a breakfast ball. Breakfast ball's international rule, known everywhere. So yes, we took 2 off the tee. That's the definition of ball don't lie, by the way. Just a little block fade, if it helps at all too. I did not warm up. I don't even know if there was a driving range. I didn't have time. Because of the traffic to get here, I was hoping just to play 9, walk out, and leave. And luckily, that's exactly what happened. And so, for what it's worth, my first ball was in play. It was just in the other fairway. And then my second ball that I hit, it was headed towards the same direction, and I'm guessing I just got super lucky. I guess it kicked off a tree, went back into the rough on this hole. So I had about an 8-iron in, and I'm doing just this quick little tour. The opening hole, it's pretty cool. Outside of the power lines that run through the course, it's a really beautiful course. It almost had a Linksy style feel and vibes. There wasn't a lot of OB, and I think that's what the longest course is kind of known for. It's just long and fairly open. My understanding is the other 2, which again, I have never played it, and for those that have, maybe you can confirm, but I think the waterfall and the island course, that has a lot more water carry, a lot more strategic, but again, the downside of this one is the length is going to be tough. Funny enough, the length's going to be tough. I think I'm playing the white tee, so not even the tips, and I think it's like 35, 3600. Crazy if you think about it. I do end up playing, so even though it's one forward from the tips, I do end up playing the longest hole from the tips just for fun. So again, we'll get to that video in a moment. But we end up with a really comfy, easy par. Yes, par with a breakfast ball, sue me. Come on, it's breakfast ball. It's always available. So anyway, here we are, next hole. So hole 11, aka hole 2. This is going to be a 426-yard par 4, not exactly the shortest par 4. So you get thrown right into the gauntlet where if you're not warm and figuring stuff out, yeah, you better do it quick. The plus side is you can see here, outside of really far right, not a lot of OB, so you can kind of have a wide open field there. One thing that might not be clear because I had to mute the audio 90% of the time of this video, it was the windiest day ever. I think this was filmed back in January, late January of 2025, so this is about 4 or 5 months old, but you can see that the fairways are still kind of beat up and growing back. The greens, oh goodness, there was a couple greens that were borderline unplayable. This is not a knock on Meadows Farm. This is anytime you play golf around this time of the year, you get a pass for me. It's winter time, it's beat up, you're trying to grow it back. So I'm actually really excited to try and check this out during the summer when it's hopefully peak conditions. Speaking of putting and the greens, man, even though they looked punched, beat up, they were rolling. There's a few holes where it just took off on me, like this one here, where that was a really bad read. Oh boy. You hate the three putt from like 8 feet. That's a really bad double bogey. But anyway, the greens were rolling even though they're beat up. And so here it comes. Here comes what everybody comes to play, the longest hole. And so if you haven't checked it out by now, check out this hole. The full link is in the description where you're going to see me play this. Spoiler alert, and I don't think it's a shocker. You're going to see in a moment. I do end up birdieing it. I was just laughing to myself. Anyone who uploads a YouTube video of a really cool, iconic hole, the goal is always to birdie or better. And of course, I end up birdieing it. I got so lucky. So if you don't end up watching that video, I play it fairly straightforward. I think I play it driver, hybrid 5 iron, something like that. But it takes like a 30 footer, a lucky 30 footer to end up birding it. But a birdie is a birdie. So on to the next hole. We're officially 1 over through 3 after that birdie. We're on to the first par 3 of the course. And again, nothing too crazy, very straightforward. OB left, wrong, long, and right. But there's not too much trouble or trickiness to it. So I end up hitting it, but you're going to see my distances. I actually pride myself on pretty good distance control overall. I don't hit it far, but I know what club and how to hit it. Look at the leaves in the green just constantly blowing. The flag is moving. The wind really killed me today. And so I'll try not to complain about it after that, but I think you all get the point. It's really, really windy. And so this would be a really good par save, but I wouldn't be too mad at a 2 putt bogey, which, spoiler alert, we do end up doing. And we will take that because the tee shot, I don't think I talked about it, was a really poor tee shot. So to get up and down would have been amazing. This was actually a really cool hole, so I wanted to film the walk up. This is one of the first times you had a forced carry, so there's a little bit of water. I mean, the forced carry doesn't really come into play. It's probably not even 100 yards if I had to guess. But look at this. It's a really visually appealing hole. I can imagine this during peak conditions when there's leaves, the water's all clean and nice and shining. This would be a really, really cool hole. So anyway, fairly straightforward. And then you can see this is, I'm aimed really far right with the pin on the left. I don't know if you can tell, but the ball, maybe from this camera angle, you can't tell. The ball was really above my feet. So I was playing for the pull draw, and we actually hit it perfect. I hit a good one that lands to about, if I had to say, maybe 9, 10 feet from about 155 swirling wind with, look at the flag again, just constantly going. So this is a very, very makeable birdie putt. And all I tell myself is just get it there. Don't leave it short. And we leave it short. Now, why did I mention that and complain about it? I'm actually going to pick up the camera and show you. This was I would say about 3 out of the 9 greens were like this. The rest were okay, but I just want you to see what I had to putt through. This is me talking to the camera, complaining about how big of a joke the greens are. So again, maintenance crew, I'm giving you a pass. I know I'm playing in a weird time, but look at this. This is what you had to putt through. Um,
I don't know
Not
if you
much
guys
you
can
can
see
do
that.
about it. It's just, it looked like a roller
I
coaster. It
hit
was a
my line. I
Plinko
hit it
board going
so
through
hard.
that. And of course, my ball just stopped
Yeah.
short. So again, good hole overall. We'll take a par, but man, I really, really wanted that birdie. On to the next par 3. This is a longer, it's a longer hole. The card's going to say 174. If I remember correctly, this was, yeah, 181, as you can see on the screen. But I actually ended up playing this like 190, 195. I believe I take 4 iron here. The wind was right into. I actually hit a really solid shot, but it's just short. And also, I kind of rushed this. You're going to get some weird camera angles coming up. I rushed this because there's a group behind me that caught up to me. There is a group ahead of me. It's why I'm kind of taking my time and being slow. But there was a twosome behind me with a father-son combo with the father wasn't playing. Anyway, they pulled up as I was just about to tee off. So, for any of the golf vloggers out there, it's never a good look when you're filming. And for what it's worth, I'm a solo guy. I play fairly fast. It's not like I'm slowing things down, but if you're going to be vlogging the course, you got to be keeping up with pace of play. So I mention all of that because we end up pairing up together for these last 3 holes. The good news is 2 super cool guys. I believe one of the guys was in high school. Kid had a really, really nice swing. I think he said he played for the local high school team. And then another fellow, just random guy getting out here. So had a blast with the 2 of them. And the good news is they actually both have played this course. So there's the other gentleman, the high school kid. really good swing and, can't just put them on camera. But anyway, this was probably my favorite hole in terms of just because I don't hit it long. I still take driver and send it. However, for longer hitters, this is probably a layup, and it's going to give you look how beautiful that approach is. I think it's a really really cool hole. I end up chunking that approach a little bit, so we get on the green, but this is legit like a 60 foot putt. I will take that all day. It's never good when you think it was going to break left and it breaks right. That's never a good sign, but we leave ourselves about 6 feet from where we just had for par, and we will take it. So can we make it? We do. Really good start, and I think for all of you that, all the golfers out there, when you get paired up with people or they ask to play, there's always some nerves, the first hole that you have. So there was a little bit of nerves there. To get a really comfy par, that actually felt pretty good. Final two holes, this was a tricky tee shot. It's visually intimidating. You can see how narrow it is. The good news is it opens up after this little left-hand side, so it does open up. However, if you don't take driver, I think you can play this with just like a 200-yard club and leave yourself a decent amount in. I end up hitting, if I remember this correctly, it was about a 150, 155 with slope adjusted up pin. It was playing 148 but without slope. I think I take, if I remember correctly, I think I took my 190 club. Now I didn't hit it perfect, but man, it was so short. So the wind really ate me. It's not fun having headwind directly into maybe two club lengths, but we're always happy with a putt for par. So this is going to be about a 6 footer for par. Can we? And it just snaps on me. Again, another bad misread. I don't know about you all, but I can live with putts if I just don't execute. If I push, I pull, leave it short, that's a user error. But I actually hit a really, really good putt. It just snap hooked. I didn't see that. And so that's where you can't be too mad. Don't be results oriented. I executed the stroke, but yeah, that one did hurt. And then obviously it's funny. There was a guy standing right in the line where you couldn't see the hole. You can't really be like, hey guys, get out of my way. I'm vlogging. So again, life of a vlogger, but super cool dudes regardless. This is this is a really cool finishing hole where it's downhill than uphill for the 500 plus yards that is. Longer hitters could probably reach, but that's a really tough ask. I was picking the brain of the high school kid who said he's played here before. Even him who hits it pretty decently long, the approach shot here is so tricky. So I mention all that because as a par five, people expect to maybe birdie or better if you're a long hitter. There's nothing wrong with a par on this hole. And then you can see I actually blocked one into the sand. And yes, I did end up ranking it before. Because of the time of the year, I couldn't tell. The sand was like really, really hard and rocky and cementy. So I tried to rake before and drop it to give myself somewhat of a sandy lie. We get it out. It wasn't good, but we do get it out. So the good news is we do have a putt for par again, and we just miss it. So, we'll take a tap in bogey. So you know what? I'm actually not too mad at a five over, a four over, excuse me. And by the way, it's a par 37. So I actually shot a 41, but we are four over. I will take it and not too mad. So ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed the video. And again, hopefully trying to get the other two nines later this summer, but like, comment, subscribe. We got some other great videos: Maryland National, Pohick, Matanope Springs, etc., etc. Stay tuned.